Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot, Sean, speaking. Bringing you a little bit of a different video today. Going to be playing some Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. You can put this on the background, relax, chill out. But we're going to be going on the career path here for the private pilot, and then so on. I've already taken the liberty of doing some of the simulator controls as well as the aircraft essentials. I do have a yoke and throttle as my peripherals that I'm going to be using. So going to be maybe a little janky, but yeah, we're just going to get started here, and feel free, relax, enjoy the scenery, and the flight attendants will be around shortly with your beverages and snacks. Gonna be flying a Cessna 172 Skyhawk today. Let's see, does this say exactly where? I think this is Sedona. Yeah, this is gonna be Sedona. Alright, let's start this training. Alright, already up in the air.
To help demonstrate pitch, I've drawn 3 lines on the windshield. Notice how the middle line matches the horizon while we're flying level? This is the cruise attitude. The lower dotted line is the climb attitude, and the upper one is the descent attitude. Let's dig deeper into what that means.
Did she just stall us out?
Pull back gently on the yoke until the climb attitude line matches the horizon. Then maintain that attitude.
I don't see any RPMs on my RPM indicator. I don't even see my RPM indicator.
According to your altimeter, we're gaining altitude. But we're losing airspeed, proving you can't avoid basic physics while making a climb.
It's because you turned off the engine.
That's good. Keep working on it, you'll get better. Now, let's level back up.
I turned off the engine. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Our speed is increasing and our altitude is stable. All right. That's good. That's okay. Push gently on the yoke until the descent attitude line matches the horizon. Then maintain that attitude. As expected, with a nose-down attitude, our altitude is decreasing while our speed is picking up. That's good. Keep working on it, you'll get better. Okay, bring us back to level flight. Now your speed is decreasing and your altitude is stable. That's good. That's okay. Try to make only small adjustments to your pitch to avoid overcorrection.
Feel like that would have been a little easier with the engine on. But okay. This control also needs to be like greased up. It's kind of well janky, We'll say that. You give me a B, I'll take a B. I'll take a B. I never said I was an ace pilot, guys. Alright? I'm not even a pilot. Yet. That's what we're going for here. Gonna work on our turning. As a famous 9/11 pilot once said, I don't need to learn how to land this thing. That is a true story. Actually, he was not one of the pilots. He was one of the attempted pilots.
For this
and that's
lesson,
how they got him.
We're going to use a line drawn on the windshield to indicate the cruise attitude.
Maybe not fun fact, but...
I've also added another dotted line to help you bank properly for left turns. Gently move the yoke to the left until the dotted line matches up with the horizon. Then maintain that bank. Keep working on it, you'll get better. Watch your altitude. It wasn't constant during the turn. Now, let's see you level back out. That's okay.
Turn my engine back on, lady.
Remember to maintain altitude while leveling off. For the next step, turning to the right, let's see how you do on your own without any markings. You can see a series of notches representing 10-degree increments on the attitude indicator.
We're gonna crash. Why is this?
As a general rule, you
Okay.
always want to keep your turns under 30.
No duh, oh my goodness. No duh, it crashed. She turned the gosh darn engine off.
For this lesson, we're going to use a line drawn on the windshield to indicate the cruise attitude. I've also added another dotted line to help you bank properly for left turns.
I have no engine.
Gently move the yoke to the left until the dotted line matches up with the horizon. Then maintain that bank. That's good. Watch your altitude. It wasn't constant during the turn. Now, let's see you level back out. That's good.
Okay, so I had to go in and fix the
Remember
engine
to
problem,
maintain
I think.
altitude
No,
while
I think
leveling
I
off.
think I'm losing RPM.
For the next step, turning to the right, let's see how you do on your own without
Yep,
any
I am
markings.
losing RPM.
You can see a series of notches representing 10-degree increments on the attitude indicator part of your PFD. As a general rule, you always want to keep your turns under 30 degrees. Start banking right until you're lined up with the second notch to the right on the attitude indicator. Then, maintain that 20-degree bank while remaining at the same altitude until I ask you to stop.
We're gonna crash again. Oh boy. This is a terrible spot for this training.
For this lesson, we're going to use a line drawn on the windshield to indicate the cruise attitude. I've also added another dotted line to help you bank properly for left turns. Gently move the yoke to the left until the dotted line matches up with the horizon. Then maintain that bank. That's good. Watch your altitude. It wasn't constant during the turn. Now, let's see you level back out.
Maybe give me my engine so I can keep airspeed
That's
a little
good.
easier.
Remember to maintain altitude while leveling off.
500.
For the next step, turning to the right, let's see how you do on your own
Oh
without
my
any
god,
markings.
500 feet to turn right.
You can see a series of notches representing 10-degree increments on the attitude indicator part of your PFD. As a general rule, you always want to keep your turns under 30 degrees. For this lesson, we're going to use a line drawn on the windshield to indicate the cruise attitude. I've also added another dotted line to help you bank properly for left turns.
And I've already lost
As a
100
general
feet
rule,
since that
you
announcement.
always want to keep your turns under 30 degrees. Start banking right until you're lined up with the second notch to the right on the attitude indicator. Then, maintain that 20-degree bank while remaining at the same altitude
I know
until
I'm
I ask you
stalling.
to stop.
I have 0 engine! This is so frustrating, because it's just, I don't know why it's just, I don't know why it's shutting off the engine. Like, can I...
For this lesson, we're going to use a line drawn on the windshield to indicate the cruise attitude.
Is this gonna pause the flight for me?
I've also added
No.
another dotted line to help you bank properly for left turns. Gently move the yoke to the left until the dotted line matches up with the horizon. Then maintain that bank.
Oh, now I get engine.
Keep working on it, you'll get better. Watch your altitude. It wasn't constant during the turn. Now, let's see you level back out. That's good. Remember to maintain altitude while leveling off.
Would have been nice to know that I had to have
The
my
next
mixture
step,
on
turning
for
to the
this
right,
tutorial
let's
as
see how
well.
you do on your own without any markings. You can see a series of notches representing 10-degree increments on the attitude indicator part of your PFD. As a general rule, you always want to keep your turns under 30 degrees. Start banking right until you're lined up with the second notch to the right on the attitude indicator. Then, maintain that 20-degree bank while remaining at the same altitude until I ask
Give
you to
us a
stop.
little less power. And starting a right-hand turn.
Keep working on it, you'll get better. Keep working to maintain a constant altitude during the turn.
Bitch, I've moved like
Level us
10
back out
feet.
now. That's good.
You're a bad instructor.
Remember to maintain altitude while leveling off. Additional practice will help, don't worry.
I lost like 40 feet total.
Small corrections on the yoke will lead to more accurate turns.
I vertically moved like 40 feet during that. You're telling me that I can't move 0 feet that entire time? That's literally impossible. That's impossible. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be relaxing, and I'm kind of pissed off. Power settings. Okay. Cool. That probably would have been useful before that last tutorial, seeing as how I had to manage that myself.
Let's talk about the throttle.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. Full control over the power output of the engine. In the Cessna 172, that relates directly to the RPM displayed on the tachometer on the PFD. Pull back on the throttle to reduce RPM to 1800.
Oh my god, I'm holding F.
Pull back on the throttle. You want to reduce RPM to 1800.
Okay, now we can reduce.
Pull back on the throttle. You want to reduce RPM to 1800. Look how your speed and altitude are also decreasing.
Again, it's done no tutorial about the mixture. I don't know why it's just throwing that in there.
That's okay. Okay, let's throttle back up to 2,400 RPM.
I'm actually a little high.
Your speed is increasing now. As long as you maintain the same attitude, your altitude will keep climbing as well. That's good. I think a bit more practice may be a good idea.
Oh, really? You are a terrible instructor. Just putting that out there. Terrible. You know what? We're gonna retry that because I feel like that would have been really. That could have been a very easy A if we had known about, again, the mixture. So we're just gonna keep doing that going forward. Alright, I have the mixture on my.
If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. Full control over the power output of the engine. In the Cessna 172, that relates directly to the RPM displayed on the tachometer on the PFD. Pull back on the throttle to reduce RPM to 1800.
Okay, it's not recognizing my peripheral. Like, I don't know how I can set it as the default.
Pull back on the throttle. You want to reduce RPM.
You know, we're just gonna restart that. Because it's not recognizing the peripheral. And I don't know why. So we're just gonna have to...
Let's talk about the throttle.
We're doing it live.
If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. Full control over the power output of the engine. In the Cessna 172, that relates directly to the RPM displayed on the tachometer on the PFD.
Okay, I had the wrong lever for my mixture somehow.
Pull back on the throttle to reduce RPM to 1800. Look how your speed and altitude are also decreasing. Excellent.
See, look at that.
Okay,
excellent.
Let's throttle back up to 2,400 RPM.
Give her the juice, baby.
Your speed is increasing now. As long as you maintain the same attitude, your altitude will keep climbing as well. Nice. That was excellent.
Hey, look, Ma, no hands!
With piston planes like this Cessna, it's common to have power targets defined in RPM.
Look at me go. Let's see, what grade's it gonna give me now? Give me an A. Give me an A, come on. Come on, come on, you know you wanna. Oh yeah! Round of cocktails for all the passengers, including the pilot. Alright, maneuver test. Let's do it. Can't wait till later in this game when I can do some of like the cooler jobs, like doing the wildfire water drops and stuff. But for now, we're just gonna do this little Cessna.
The art of maneuvering a plane through the air isn't
Alright,
a
let's
mystery
see.
to you anymore. Now
So
it's
kind
time
of
to
is.
test the skills you've learned. As you can see, we're cruising at 6,000 feet on a north heading of 360 degrees.
I already turned a little bit from that.
Start by descending to 5,500 feet while maintaining a northerly heading. While descending, reduce throttle to avoid overspeed.
Alright, yeah, right now we're sitting at 1100 RPM. Sitting at idle.
While descending, reduce throttle to
Okay,
avoid overspeed.
whoa, what was that?
Right.
That was my rudder, I want to
Now,
say?
climb to 6,000 feet and turn to a south heading. On the Cessna 172, you need full power to climb effectively. You can start the climb when you're ready.
I'm working on it, bitch. Don't want to be losing too much airspeed here. Let's go back to about 1800 RPM. Oh, turn to a south heading. Oh, okay. Level her
Nice.
back out.
All right.
Not the
Next
worst.
exercise. Maintain your heading of 180 degrees, stay at 6,000 feet, and adjust your airspeed to 80 knots.
Alright, so we're gonna have to increase
Go
RPM
ahead
for this.
and reduce your speed. Go ahead and reduce your speed.
Oh, okay, okay. This is a little harder than it looks.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Review straight and level flight to better manage your speed and altitude. You did well, but you can do better.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Got very focused on the instruments there. But, oh well. It's gonna give me a C, I bet. I'll take a B, but I think it's gonna give me a C. Ah, you know what? I'll take that. Yeah, that reduced power while maintaining was not fun. Again, this whole thing is very touchy. Pre-flight. Why is it having me do this after all the flying stuff? Hey, that's making my hairs very shiny.
Hello.
Hi.
Today we're going to go over all the steps that precede turning on your engine. Those steps are essential to ensure your aircraft's integrity and that everything is in order for a smooth and seamless flight. First of all, stretch your legs a bit and take a look at your aircraft and your surroundings. We never took much time to look at our aircraft from the outside, so take your time if you want to inspect it. You might have noticed some extra bits on your aircraft. These are the covers and chocks. Covers are installed when the plane is not in use and are meant to avoid damaging its sensitive parts. Chocks are there to immobilize the aircraft. You'll need to remove them before takeoff.
Okay, remove the engine covers. Ah. Static port cover. Is that you? Yep. Remove chocks. Okay. Remove the pitot cover. Okay.
And we're done for the outside. Now that we're sure your aircraft is functional and ready to taxi, let's check the inside. Let's get to the matter at hand. You've been given an EFB, also referred to as an electronic flight bag. It's a tablet that stores critical flight information and is the ideal tool to prepare your flight plans and enhance your piloting experience.
Very nice, very nice.
Open it and take a look. Feel free to follow a quick guided tour of its features.
Might as well. Open the EFB with Tab.
The EFB features an interactive map, a flight plan editor, aircraft and current flight information, a nav log, as well as fuel and payload options.
I like this.
The EFB has plenty to offer, but if you want to get directly into the action, you can turn it off after you finish the quick tour.
Let's do a quick tour around. Atlas app. Here you can plan your next flight, check your navigation map, check airport information and charts. Aircraft app. On the left here. Here you can check your flight performances, use checklists, and have access to your aircraft documents. Cool. Pilot book app. Here you can view some of your flight statistics and access your logbook. Nice. Settings. Here you can manage your preferences and parameters for the EFB. Okay. Cool. More apps. From here, you will access and manage all your EFB applications. Cool. Let's go to the settings. Yeah, I'll take it like that. I'll do stuff in knots, feet, nautical miles, pounds, gallons, Fahrenheit. Cool. I like this. All right.
It seems like we're all clear on the checklist. Now start this pretty bird up.
Start the engine, Control E. I'm going to write that down because I know I'm going to... Oh, never mind. I already have it written down. Control E. I learned this earlier.
Now that we've covered all the preparations, let's get to the good stuff, shall we?
We shall. Easy hundo. Oh, no. I didn't want to go back to certification. Oh well. It is what it is. What do we have left? So we got taxiing, takeoff, landing, yoke management, landing throttle management, landing, downwind, and first solo. Okay, so we still got a bit to go, but let's practice taxiing. Let's give her a start. There we go. Oh, there's a bounce house in the back.
Taxiing. Taxiing refers to moving the aircraft on the ground under its own power. In particular, getting from the ramp out to the hold short point on the edge of the runway. Steering on the ground is managed through the rudder pedals.
which I don't have
That's right, unlike
the
driving a
peripheral
car.
for. Sorry.
We turn by using our feet. Okay, ready? With the throttle idle, release your parking brake.
Alright.
Okay. Now, gently increase throttle to get the aircraft moving.
I have no fuel. Okay, hang on.
Add power to start taxiing.
I understand that. Okay. Why do you not want to work?
Add power to start taxiing.
Oh my goodness. He's just another one. This doesn't want to work.
Add power to start taxiing.
Oh my god, I understand. It's just not letting me. What is my warning? What's my warning here?
Add power to start taxiing.
Oh my. I don't know what my warning is here, and this is just frustrating me. I'm holding R to do this. And it just does not want to.
Add power to start taxiing.
Oh my god, I'm gonna punch this bitch. I'm just gonna restart. Just gonna restart. Bouncy house there in the back. I'd rather be there than in this lesson right now.
Let's take a moment to talk about taxiing. Taxiing refers to moving the aircraft on the ground under its own power. In particular, getting from the ramp out to the hold short point on the edge of the runway. Steering on the ground is managed through the rudder pedals. That's right, unlike driving a car, we turn by using our feet. Okay, ready? With the throttle idle, release your parking brake. Okay.
Alright, parking brake
now,
is off.
Gently increase throttle to get the aircraft moving.
Alright, we're just gonna hold R. And it's not doing anything.
Add power to start taxiing.
I'm trying. This isn't doing anything. I understand that I need to add power. It's just not working.
Add power to start taxiing.
I'm at 100% power. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Go easy on your...
Okay. Again, one thing it does not mention is you have to do Control E to start it up. One would think, if you're not mentioning to me in a tutorial, and again, I know, I might have to realize this myself,
Let's take a moment
but
to
I'm
talk
in a
about
simulator.
taxiing.
I don't really recognize.
Taxiing refers to moving the
I have no
aircraft
flight
on the
experience.
ground under its own power. In particular, getting from the ramp out to the hold short point on the edge of the runway. Steering on the ground is managed through the rudder pedals. That's right, unlike driving a car, we turn by using our feet. Okay, ready? With the throttle idle, release your parking brake.
Parking brake is released.
Now, gently increase throttle to get the aircraft moving.
Alright, we're going to very gently.
Add power to start taxiing. Go easy on your throttle. Use your rudder pedal to turn left and enter the taxiway.
I don't have a rudder pedal. Q and E.
Increase throttle to gain forward momentum and then reduce RPM accordingly to match a fast walking speed while taxiing. Now, test the brakes.
What are my brakes? Oh, space. Cool.
Good. Brakes checked. Taxi to the next exit, then come to a stop. Remember to control your speed with throttle and brakes. See the crossing in front of us. Stop before it, as if traffic was coming off the runway.
Okay, I really gotta give this thing some juice to... Okay. Okay, I wish I had real pedals here. Zigging and zagging. Oh, this is awful. Let's fix the zigzag.
Alright, taxi to holding point Alpha 1 next. It's at the far end of the airport,
behind us.
near the head of runway 21. Stay as close as possible to the taxiway center, marked by the yellow line, and watch your speed.
Yep, will do, champ. Alright. Oh, this is much better.
Watch your speed. Watch your speed. Watch your speed. After the right turn, come to a stop before the hold short point, in prep for takeoff.
Ooh!
Remain on the taxiway
It's like
center
I knew
line.
what I was doing.
You don't want to risk damaging the aircraft. The next challenge will be to keep the aircraft under control while at full throttle for takeoff.
All right. Yeah, that was a kind of a pain in the balls, in the boing loings. Gave me a C, whatever. I don't really see us taxiing a whole lot in this. I really just plan on doing a whole lot of takeoff and lands, but not a whole lot of taxiing. But we'll see. And you know, practice makes perfect. So the more we do it, I bet the better we'll get.
There's an old saying I like, a mile of road will take you a mile. A mile of runway will take you anywhere. Taking off isn't hard, but there are a few key points to remember. First, we always take off into the wind, which won't be an issue on a calm day like today. Second, before we enter a runway, we always make sure it's clear. Check to the right to see if a vehicle is on the runway. And to the left to make sure no other planes are approaching.
Howdy. I
Runway
don't see
numbers are
none.
not arbitrary. Each number matches the first two number of the runway's compass bearing, rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. For example, a runway orientated towards the north would be numbered 36, which is 360 degrees on a compass. Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position. Now slowly taxi onto the runway and align the plane with the center line. Then stop your plane just after the number 21. Let's position the plane for takeoff.
I understand that. My parking brake's on, isn't it? Yep. It started me last time with the parking brake on, and this time it started with it off.
Excellent. All right, let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go.
Alright, guys. First takeoff. Going maximum effort.
Use your rudder to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots. Good. Now, gently pull back on the yoke. And we're airborne.
Look at us, guys. It's like I knew what I was
Line at
doing.
the top of your instrument panel, so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time.
I gotta
Focus on
throttle
flying
down
straight.
to.
Use your rudders to remove the left yaw plane as when climbing. You can see your current yaw input by looking at the MFD's slip skid indicator. Maintain 75 knots and climb to 5,500 feet. Okay, 5,500 feet. You've reached your target altitude. That was a nice takeoff.
Thank you. Oh boy. Not the worst takeoff we could have had. Not the worst. And we got an A. All right. Sweet. We love that. All right, so landing yoke management. All right. We're not doing too shabby at all here.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely.
I would love to
without
focus on the
adding
yoke
any
only, but
throttle.
you don't know how to
Maintain a speed of around 65 knots.
use the
Pitch down if you're going too
RPM
slow.
or the
Pitch
throttle.
up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
clearly see a glide slope here. And we are well overshooting the runway.
500.
I'm gonna overshoot the runway.
We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back.
Okie dokie.
Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
Oh, that was
Nice.
rough.
Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. I think a bit more practice may be a good idea.
Yeah, we're gonna try that again.
Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
We're definitely trying that again. That was rough. Don't really know what I was referring to by the glide slope there, but I mean, for being blind on that, I'll take it. I'll take that any day. We're just gonna make sure that our fuel is on, but we're gonna keep the engine idle actually.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots.
Yeah, I probably screwed
Pitch
that
down if
up
you're
by
going too
adding
slow.
throttle.
Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
Here we go.
We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. Well done, but there's room for improvement.
I will take
Keep in
that
mind
landing
that approaching the runway
any
at the
day
right
of the
speed
week.
is key to a good landing.
Having pedals on this would be huge. But I'll take that. That was a pretty darn good link. Give me a B. Yeah, I'll take a B on that. Flaring the aircraft, I didn't do that great, but you know, it's a weird feeling, so I'll take that. I'll take that. Throttle management on landing. Yeah, that's let's see, we were sitting around 1,000 to 1,100 RPM. Idling at this will be about 600 RPM. Yeah, let's get our
In the
fuel
first part of
on.
this landing exercise, I want you to stay on the glide path by using the throttle. You can make small corrections with the yoke to stay aligned with the runway. Smooth action on the throttle is key for remaining on the correct glide path. If you find yourself too high, reduce your power. If you're too low, increase it. Remember though, always make soft corrections. You don't want to overcompensate.
Uh-huh.
Now you can use the elevator to land.
Elevator? Who installed an elevator in the sky? I think I'd make a pretty good airline captain. What do you guys think? Alright, we are a little misaligned here. There we go.
500.
Sweet. These are things we love to hear. Going idle. Okay.
Reduce throttle to idle.
Yep, already did.
Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
Oh!
Nice. Now, apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop.
Look at that! Look at that! Oh my god! That was beautiful!
That was excellent.
Yeah, I know, right? That was all me. That wasn't you, Mrs. Instructor. I think her name's Sam. That was nothing to do with you. That was all me. You've been a terrible instructor. Bring the aircraft to a stop. 57%? I was holding brakes the entire time. What do you want me to do? Whatever. I think next is the check ride. No? Oh, just regular landing. Okay. All right. So this is yoke and throttle, which is exactly what I just did. Again, let's make sure our fuel is on.
My first instructor used to say, the best part of flying is landing in one piece.
Uh-huh.
Today, you're in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing. And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 20 degrees of flaps.
Uh-huh.
Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare.
How do I know that I'm 10 feet above the runway, though? You know, like I don't have a tape measure on the bottom of this thing, and I'm certainly not a laser rangefinder. So how do I know? Let's give us a little bit more throttle here. Just a little bit. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. Keep the base of the runway right on the tip of our nose there. Just on our horizon. Coming a little bit on the left. Let's correct to the right a small bit. Gonna start decreasing our throttle a little bit and just start gliding in. Actually, now we're gonna give her a little bit more. I lied, I'm sorry. Still coming in a little bit on the left. It's correct.
Reduce throttle to idle.
Okay, yep, there we go.
Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose.
Oh, that was a little rough. That was a little rough.
Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop.
That was a little
rough. Use
rough.
rudder pedals to stay on the center line. You did well.
I'll take
but
that.
You can do better.
If it gives me a B, I'll take it. Again, this is a simulator. It's not
perfect. Approaching the runway at
perfect.
the right speed is key to a good landing.
Give me a B. We'll take a B on that. Stopping the aircraft, I don't know why it's giving us a 45%, because I was applying brakes the entire time, so. Alright, I actually think it's downwind. And then I think we go into a full solo after this. Okay. Let's give ourselves some...
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg, at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. We are passing the end of the runway, so go ahead and reduce RPM to 1700.
1700, copy.
It will help you to slow you down to 80 knots and begin your descent. The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current speed. We will turn to the base leg when the end of the runway is at a 45-degree angle behind us. Turn left onto the base leg.
Alright, sorry. Super focused here.
Try to keep our speed around 75 knots.
75 knots, copy.
Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn. Turn left onto final.
Left onto final.
Make your left turn onto final.
Working on it, honey. Okay, overshot the base turn a little bit. That's okay, we're
Keep a
professionals.
stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing.
65 knots airspeed. Alright, so we're gonna reduce
Use throttle and
RPM.
flaps as required to adjust the glide slope.
Really reduce RPM there.
500.
Not gonna be able to maintain 65 knots here, but coming in very hot, very hot. I didn't even go into idle. That's my bad. We're probably gonna redo this.
Apply the brakes and stop the plane.
Yeah, we're just gonna restart that. I hopped the landing. Just gonna restart that. Oh, I should have gone into idle. That's my bad, folks. Alright. Click start. Being very laggy. There we go. Alright.
Okay,
Fuel
we're
is
currently
on.
flying on the downwind leg, at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction.
Goosing it to
In
1700
downwind,
RPM.
You want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. We are passing the end of the runway, so go ahead and reduce RPM to 1700.
Okay.
It will
That
help you to
was
slow
a
you
little
down
much.
to 80 knots and begin your descent.
There we go.
The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current speed. We will turn to the base leg when the end of the runway
I can
is
move
at
it
a
in
45
increments by
degree
pressing
angle behind
B.
us.
Got it.
Turn left onto the base leg. Try to keep our speed around 75 knots. Turn left onto final.
Turning left onto
Keep an eye on
final.
the runway as we get ready for our final turn. Make your left turn onto final.
Okay, big correction there, my bad.
Keep a stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing. Use throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope.
Gonna reduce throttle there. I'm gonna hop the runway.
Apply the brakes and stop the plane.
Yeah, came in a little hot there. Little hot, but you know what? That's alright. That was a first full landing, so we'll take it.
That was all right. A little more practice will help your accuracy, though.
Yeah, I bet it will. I bet it will. You know what? I'm probably gonna get a seat, yeah. 98% complete. I totally completed left base. That is... We're just gonna go to next training, and if I want to improve my grade on that, I'm gonna do that off video. Yeah, I was gonna say off stream, but yeah, off video, off recording. First solo flight. All right, let's start this. So I think this is just a combination of taxiing, takeoff, and land. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. And start. Okay.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground, in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't.
I don't know.
Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember everything we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine.
I have a feeling this is gonna go pretty bad.
Good luck. See you on the other side.
Alright, so Control E to start up. Let's get our fuel mixture on. Let's see, can we see if our parking brake is on? We can't. I think the parking brakes were off, but alright, we're gonna give her some RPMs here. Yep, parking brake was off. Alright, 55 knots is our goal grounds or airspeed here. Staying right on the center line. This is nice. Okay. 55 knots. Start gonna gently pull up. Okay, to our left, crosswind. It's 5,700 feet. Alright, going for our downwind leg now. Come on, keep going up. Just keep climbing even though we're on the downwind. God, this yoke I have is very touchy. Left base. Okay, keep her steady with the horizon there. And reduce our RPM. 75 knots, but I have to descend like crazy. And turning on, this is not going well. Alright, on final approach here. Coming in a little cockeyed, but we'll correct that as we go. Going into idle. Let's get these flaps up.
500.
We came in way too fast on that. Way too fast. Okay. I'm gonna give this one more go and then, you know, see how it does. See how it does. You know, I'm doing a solo with an hour of training, so actually a little longer.
It's time. Your first solo flight.
Let's get the aircraft turned on.
I'll be watching from the ground. In radio contact
Fuel
if
mixture
you need me,
on.
but something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember
Okay, so
everything we covered in our previous sessions.
Easier
and you'll be
flaps
just
are
fine.
V and B.
Good luck. See you on the other side.
All right. Let's run it back. Full throttle. Aiming for that speed of 55 knots. Alright, we're up and off. Let's get our flaps retracted. Turning onto our downwind here. Alright, and this is where we're going to start powering down. Ooh, actually, I descended a little bit there. Let's give ourselves some flaps. Reduce our RPM. Let's actually give her a little bit more. Alright, turning left onto base. Start throttling down. 1700 RPM. Let's give ourselves some more flaps. Nope, less flaps, less flaps. Shit. Alright. Let's reduce our RPM so we can reduce our airspeed. increase our flaps. Give our flaps a little more, actually. Still coming in hot. And we skipped it, but you know what? We'll take it. We will take that. I would say that was a decent landing for the training that we received.
I think a bit more practice may be a good idea.
It might, but you know, I might practice without you.
Hell of a pilot.
All right. Well, we got our solo out of the way, so that's huge. Yeah, I kind of expected. Oh, we're so close to a B. I don't know. I thought that downwind leg was a little better than a 44, but all right. Well, back to certification. That is where we're gonna end it off today. And you know, we will pick it up on the next one. We're gonna see what's next for Pilot Sean. Actually, before that. Oh, I have to take the exam. You know what? We're going to take the exam next time. All right, I will see everyone at our next flight.